Everyone for coming to the informational session. My name's Lily. I am part of the Ocean Foundation, part of the Ocean Science Equity Initiative, and I'm here co-leading the session with my colleague Azaria.
Hi everyone, my name is Azaria and I work as a technical officer for the for SPC, Pacific Community, and I'll be taking you through this presentation alongside with Lily.
Awesome, thank you, Azaria. So today we'll be diving into the GOA-ON In a Box kit, applying for it and what to expect and what it is. So first things first, I'll go ahead and give a brief outline of what we'll be covering today. So we'll introduce the Ocean Foundation, also known as TOF, and PIOAC, which is the Pacific Islands Ocean Acidification Center. We'll give a brief overview of the kits, the support for you if you were to receive a kit, examples of kit usage, and then commonly asked questions about the application. So the Ocean Foundation, we are a community foundation. We're the only community foundation that exists in the United States. Our community is the ocean. So we cater to those who are connected to the ocean, which is everyone on this earth. We have a few core initiatives, which I will now introduce. Our core initiatives address major ocean threats. Firstly, we have the Blue Resilience Initiative. This initiative supports coastal community resilience by restoring and conserving coastal habitats. We have our Community Ocean Engagement Global Initiative, and this supports the development of marine education to community leaders. It empowers students of all ages to translate the important ocean literacy into conservation action. Thirdly, EQUICY, also known as the Ocean Science Equity Initiative, which is what I am a part of at the Ocean Foundation. We help build the science, policy, and technical capacity of practitioners worldwide in their home countries. Lastly, but certainly not least, we have our Plastics Initiative. This initiative supports actions and policies that will change the way that plastic, and most importantly, plastic products are made so that they can be used with less harm to human and environmental health. Here you can see a map of where we are able to provide capacity for ocean acidification research throughout the world. As you can see, EQUICY, or again, the Ocean Science Equity Initiative, has a very wide range throughout the world. We can see where GOA-ON In Box kits have been deployed. We can see where we have held policy trainings. We can also see where we have had those regional resolutions on OA in a specific region or country. And lastly, you'll see where we are able to give scholarships via peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer is a scholarship that we have where an expert in ocean acidification pairs up with a mentee to help further their skills and their research to, again, enhance their research efforts on their current project.
So the Pacific Island Ocean Acidification Center was essentially designed to enhance capacity for OA monitoring and observation in the Pacific. It is a hub for Pacific partners to study and monitor local ocean acidification conditions, identify sustainable adaptation and mitigation approaches, as well as develop strategies to address changes to our ecosystems and communities. And so our partners include the Pacific Community, University of the South Pacific, University of Otago, as well as the National Institute of Water and Atmospheric Research in New Zealand. And one of the key roles of the center is the provision of training and tactical assistance to develop and support regional expertise in monitoring ocean acidification. Sorry, next slide, please. To address the impacts of ocean acidification, it is important for regions to understand local OA conditions, identify sustainable adaptation and mitigation approaches, and develop strategies to address changes to the ecosystems, communities, and economies. So PIOAC, or the center, provides these support. We support these efforts through training. We assist with OA data management and accessibility. The center provides support for OA monitoring programs that provide information about current and future regional OA conditions. And we also provide support in terms of increasing investment in OA capabilities and the establishment of infrastructure, tools, technologies for OA monitoring to better understand its impacts on the ocean. So what does the GOA-ON in a box kit enable? The kit enables carbonate chemistry monitoring at a local scale, which is important in understanding what OA is, its impacts, for instance, assessing the vulnerability of coastal areas to OA. When we look at climate change, it enables the understanding of the carbon cycle, and the kit also enables monitoring of biological activity in marine ecosystems, experimental manipulation. For instance, you're able to study what OA might look like in the future by manipulating CO2 concentrations in the lab.
So the GOA-ON in a box kit will help answer potential research questions. These kits can address a variety of OA related research. So if you'd like to understand the local rate of change of ocean acidification, this is something that we're really trying to understand and target through these kits. You might also want to understand how much variability coral reefs can create. So how does the biological activity affect carbonate chemistry in the local ecosystem or area? Or would you like to understand the conditions that giant clams experience naturally? So how does the change in carbonate chemistry affect giant clams, etc.? So this kit can help you understand how ocean acidification may affect a certain aspect of your interest, research, or ecosystem.
So this is an example of the feedback we've received from one of the GOA-ON kit recipients in Fiji, Dr. Antoine. And when asked how has the GOA-ON kit benefited your region, he responded to, the GOA-ON kit has allowed Pacific Island trainees to take back to their countries new expertise and equipments to enable them to start an OA monitoring program.
So we, as the Ocean Foundation, have been able to deploy various GOA-ON in the box kits in the Pacific. We have the current kit locations are in Fiji, Palau. We have 2 in Papua New Guinea, 2 in Samoa, 1 in the Solomon Islands, 1 in Tokelau, 1 in Tuvalu, and 1 in Vanuatu. And we'll get a better spatial understanding of where these kits are in the next slide with Azaria's map.
So the map captures the countries and locations where ocean acidification activities are happening, including the GOA-ON in a box kit recipients, equipment, and methodologies used. And this is prepared by the Pacific Islands Ocean Acidification Center, and it provides a preliminary view of OA landscape in the Pacific Islands and Territories Ocean Acidification region of GOA-ON. And it's an excellent resource for scientists, policymakers, or basically anyone interested in learning more about OA activities in the Pacific. Using GOA-ON in a box kit to study ocean acidification, So the center had deployed an ISAMI earlier this year at a local site in Suva, known as Suva Notch, basically to understand OA at a more localized scale. And so this is the data we were able to get from the instrument that was deployed for about 4 weeks, showing pH variabilities from Feb to March. Unfortunately, because the ISAMI is very sensitive, our sensor broke down and is currently under maintenance. So the ISAMI is optional when applying for a kit, and Lily will cover this in a bit when we look at what is included in the kit.
So now we'll start talking about what is included in receiving a GOA-ON In a box kit. You'll receive a suite of equipment, training opportunities at the Pacific Island Ocean Acidification Center, and support for your research, which I will again go into a bit more detail as we continue the slideshow. So firstly, we want to address that in this round of GOA-ON In a box kits, this will be the very first extremely personalized kit. Previously, we have been able to personalize the kits to your research. However, this one is going to be taken a step further. So in your kit, you can either choose a bottle sampling focused kit or an ISAMI kit, where you have the option to add that in to the kit that you are requesting. For bottle sampling, this will work great for you if you already have a schedule that enables you to go out into the field and collect water samples. So this will enable you to then further that just a bit more and potentially add more sample sites to your research. If you're already going out into the field and collecting these water samples, then you are able to collect it in a larger scale. In an ISAMI option, this is optional. It's the autonomous field sensor that we have that Azaria has briefly touched on. This piece of equipment measures an amazing pH sample for the ecosystem that you have deployed it in. It also enables you to have it out there for longer periods of time, where you are able to have a continuous sample, versus a bottle sampling is when you're able to do that in accordance to your schedule, where an ISAMI, you can do it continuously on however many increments you prefer, whether that be every hour or every few minutes. I will allow the other experts on my team to chime in with additional information on the ISAMI and the benefits of it, and also the benefits of the bottle sampling aspect of the kit.
Thank you so much, Lily. My name is Alexis. I'm just chiming in for this bit. The difference in these is that there's actually bottle sampling materials provided with both kits. It's just that if you choose the ISAMI option, there's less materials to enable bottle sampling. So there's some, but it's a little bit more limited in the number of bottle samples you can be collecting at once and processing at once, just based on the amount of bottles. And then whereas the water sampling kit, there also may be some options to explore other types of sensors that are perhaps less expensive than the ISAMI, and also perhaps less robust, but could still be useful depending on your research question. So why are we providing these two options? What we have seen is that the ISAMI frequently breaks down, and it is best used by institutions that have a good amount of experience maintaining oceanographic sensors, who have engineers or technicians who feel comfortable taking it apart, working on the wiring and the connections and the board. There's also some code elements to it. Whereas we found if people don't have that familiarity, it often just sits on the shelf. And because it's such an expensive part of the kit, we really want each researcher to be able to decide what's the best use of that funding Is it the ICME? Do you have the capabilities to maintain it? Or would you rather have that funding go to really expanding your water sampling capabilities with much more bottle sampling materials, which would enable more sites, potentially adding, you know, an oxygen sensor or a temperature sensor, depending on what we can help you identify?
If I can add on, this is Caitlin, also from the Ocean Foundation. As Ilya shared, you know, the application asks to indicate which of these two options you're most interested in, but we do customize the kits. And so we can continue discussing this question, talking about the pros and the cons, and make sure that we've got a tailored application for your research question and what works best with the question. Back to you, Lily.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alexis and Caitlin. And, great point of what Alexis said. You will be receiving the water sampling aspect in the kit no matter what. I forgot to emphasize that aspect, but you have the option of whether or not to include the ISAMI. So thank you both again, and we'll go on and continue the slideshow. So here we'll briefly go over the field instruments for the monitoring equipment that can be included in a kit. You have the option to include a Niskin bottle. So this would be great if you're interested, if you're interested and or you need to take a water sample at depth, and this will enable you to bring that water sample up to the surface to bring that into your water sampling at the surface. You also, again, like we had just covered, have the option to include an ISAMI. Emphasis on that is an optional autonomous sensor. It is not required to be included in the kit. And again, we can work with you to personalize that. And lastly, we have a CTD diver. CTD stands for conductivity, temperature, and depth. And the measurements that a CTD diver can give you is essential for the carbonate chemistry measurements and analysis for the research plan of your GOA-ON in a box kit. Here we can see some lab measurements tools that will be included in your kit. You'll receive, starting from the top left, a spectrophotometer. This would be one of the largest pieces of equipment that you would receive. A laptop, a multimeter, which is in the bottom right corner, and you'll receive smaller items like APAs on grease, and a medium-sized option or medium-sized item that would be in your kit will be the CRMs, which are the standard used for ocean acidification research. There are other pieces of the lab measurement tools and lab tools that are not pictured in this slide, but are included on the spreadsheet that is found online, and something that can be included post informational session here today. Azari, I think you have this slide. Correct me if
Yep.
I'm wrong. Okay, great.
So in terms of support for your monitoring program, you'll receive a research stipend to support scientists, and the center houses spare parts for equipment that are included in the kits, and this is kept at SPC in Suva. And in the case that you would need a replacement, for example, a pH probe, the center will be able to support you with that need. The center also provides training, troubleshooting, and data management support. And you'll also have, you'll also be able to join the community networks like those that are listed to help establish and connect the newcomers with the wider OA community.
And just to add on to what Azaria was saying about the community networks, these will be easily accessible to you if you are to receive a kit. The GOA-ON in a Box WhatsApp community is active in the way that you are able to shoot a quick text or a quick short message to those who are in the WhatsApp community, also easily understood as a group chat where we can respond to you if needed in any capacity. So the eligibility to apply for a kit, we'll start getting into that and what to expect for eligibility requirements and any other essential information. What we as the Ocean Foundation expect is for you to have knowledge on ocean acidification, so understanding of carbonate chemistry parameters, etc. So this can be demonstrated through your research team members, previous trainings, courses, or anything related to ocean acidification research and involvement, through self-taught ways, reading, webinars, etc. So those who are applying for a GOA-ON in a box kit must be one of the following eligible countries. This is for our funders' requirements. Unfortunately, we do not have any flexibility if you are applying from a country that is not listed below. So you will need to be in the Federated States of Micronesia, Fiji, Kiribati, Maldives, Marshall Islands, Nauru, Palau, Philippines, Samoa, Solomon Islands, Tonga, Tuvalu, Vanuatu, and Vietnam. So those are the countries that will be able to receive a kit from the Ocean Foundation. Lastly, we require that these applicants, you must be located at an academic or place of education, governmental or non-governmental institution that will support you receiving the kit, so that we know that it will be housed there and that it will be taken care of for ongoing monitoring in a longer scale, longer time frame. We expect and hope that the status of your scientific background will be a graduate student or higher, and you must have endorsement again on behalf of the institution that you are applying from. So how to apply? The application end date will be August 2nd of 2023. In this application, we want you to describe any OA training or research experience you have been exposed to. We would like you to develop a preliminary research plan, so questions that you'd like to answer, the study site that you have in mind, and a timeline of how you expect to conduct this research. We also hope that you describe your institutional resources, again, including that letter of support from your institution. We want to hear and understand and learn the outreach plan that you have and the data management plan as well, and to also include all CVs of the research team members who are applying for the kit. So how will these proposals be scored? Firstly, there are two major components for how they will be scored. First will be the project sustainability. So this will be, how are you going to be supported in conducting your research via the institution that you are conducting it with? And we want to create lasting capacity for OA monitoring in your region. So this goes back to what I was saying previously, that we are hoping that these kits will be housed in the institution that you are applying from for longer scale purposes, so that monitoring can continue for longer amounts of time. Secondly, we want to understand the research quality of the proposal that you have submitted. So does your staff have training or experience in the necessary skill set to successfully implement an OA or ocean acidification research project? And is the proposed research appropriate for the scope of the items in the kit? So this is really important, as we'd like to understand what you would like to accomplish in your personal research interests, and ensure that we can provide with you the tools to be able to answer that question. So the next steps of when recipients are selected this is where we as the Ocean Foundation will hand organize all of the pieces of equipment in your kit based on your institution, and ensure that it is as personalized as possible, and just making sure that we have everything that you need. So we'll work with our outside partners to receive the equipment. We'll also work with you to make sure that we're including all the pieces. We are going to include that we are going to ensure that the equipment is shipped to each institution, which includes the customs clearance in your country. And we will have recipients will have the funds then when receiving the kit to be able to go to the PIOAC in Suva to have a hands-on experience for training. And recipients again will have the essential equipment to conduct their research and then share their data on the long-term scale. So with that, I would like to say thank you to those who are able to join us today. Please be sure to email Azaria and I with questions